What's going on, guys? So today I wanted to run you through a little demo of this application called Daz Studio, and basically what it does is it's a free to use program. They give you a couple of 3D figures to use, one male and one female, and you can put them in a scene, you can light them, you can change the camera angle, etc. So I'm going to be setting up a scene for the second book cover in the iTown series that I'm doing book covers for. The book is by Timothy Koch. And yeah, I just want to dive in and show you what you can do with this program. So I'm going to use my Genesis 2 base female, and it's going to load her into the scene. I have a really rough sketch of my illustration on the other monitor, so I'm kind of using that as a guide to set up my model. The aspect ratio is pretty much a square for this, so I'm going to keep that aspect ratio. So what's cool about this is you can change the facial expressions, the body type, you can put clothes on the figure. They give you a couple sets of free clothes, but they're not that great. So you kind of want to, if you have the money, you can, buy some more clothes, you can buy some shaders and stuff like that. So the main protagonist in the series is a little bit more heavy set, so I can very easily go into shaping and then go to the actor, and then can make her more, they call it pair figure for females. Just kind of bulk her up a little bit, maybe give her some bodybuilder size, show some muscle definition. Now that looks pretty good. All right, let's go to wardrobe now. Let's see. Yeah, so again, there's not many clothes I have to pick from right now, but we might as well at least just give her some like shorts and a top so that she's not completely naked. And again, unless you're going to be painting over your model in your scene, this program is just really good to quickly set up some reference. So the first thing I typically like to do is set up my camera and an angle for the camera. I know that my scene is going to be in a 3-point perspective sort of angle, like a low camera angle. So I'm going to go in and create a new camera 1, and then up here in this perspective view you can actually choose your camera, and then you use the tools over here to kind of set up where you want the camera. So I want it to be kind of like a low perspective. And basically what's happening in this scene is her and then the male character are being taken away by some guards, and they're kind of trying to fight them off. So what I tend to do is to get a good first pose for the character, they give you a lot of preset poses, which is nice. And I just first scroll through to see if there's anything that catches my eye or something that I could use and manipulate to the pose I want to get, because a lot of the body parts are already posed in the way that you want them. So right now it's kind of looking like this might work, something like this. So I'm going to use this as a basis, right? We go to the parameters, and this is these are the tools we use to basically set up all of the different angles that we want to rotate and transform for the body. So I want to rotate her, let's see, rotate her a little bit this way, push her more to the back, and then you can actually like click on each body part, and you can use this little circular thing to pose, but it's kind of hard with the mouse. I like to just use the actual tools. So I'm just going to go in and start messing with these and seeing if I can get something that looks kind of cool. So I'm eventually going to have to put in another figure behind her, kind of grabbing her. And the way we're setting up these covers is we're using the whole square as the illustration, but the book cover is obviously going to get cropped to a book cover, so I need to make sure that her and the male character are both in this scene together. Let's see, let's plant her foot a little bit more. then he's going to be back here, so she's going to be looking at him. I kind of just want to get her in like a very generalized pose before I put any other figures in. So let's give her a facial expression. So she's kind of like angry and scared at the same time. So I'm going to click on her head, go to the head setting, and let's see, they actually have like emotion features that you can just push a little slider. So maybe she's afraid and angry. And let's just kind of open her mouth a little bit more, maybe. I like the expression of her eyebrows right now. So mouth would be, let's see, mouth open wide. Maybe something like that. She's yelling at them. All right, this leg is looking weird, so I'm just gonna twist that. Pull it to the side a little bit more. Okay. Also, I think the figures would be farther out on the cover, and I think I pretty much have their feet cut off. So if I go into the camera, I can actually mess with the focal length, and that will make the figures more foreshortened. So I believe if I pull this out and then I scroll in, her arm and her leg are going to look more foreshortened. It's going to be more of like a dramatic angle. In the background, there's going to be this huge wall behind them, and this world is kind of like a post-apocalyptic world, and they use they're using road signs to basically construct this wall. Now, I'm not going to go into detail in this model putting all that stuff together because I can just overlay photos. So I'm just basically going to go to create new primitive, and I'm going to just create a cube. Accept. That's going to plop that right there. So I'm going to click on the cube, go back to my parameters, move it over, and then I'm going to move it back. I'm going to use some camera trickery to make this look the way we want. Now I'm going to scale it so it looks more like a wall. Scale it up. And then, there we go. So if this was just a flat wall, you wouldn't really be able to see the 3-point perspective. So what I had in my illustration was actually 2 guard towers that go up. So let's try to just put those in really quick. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So now I can just grab this and then I can duplicate it. So edit, let's see, how do I do this? Copy, duplicate nodes. So it made a duplicate. Now you can see all of your different pieces in your scene. So cube 2 is right here. And I'm gonna move it over to basically the same spot on the other side. Alright, now I'm not going to go in and do my entire process. I kind of just want to show you how to set up a scene. So let's just jump into lighting. Alright, so there's a couple different lighting schemes you can use that are pretty cool. So I'll just run through them really quickly. It took me a while to learn how to do this stuff, so hopefully this will easily help you understand how this stuff works. So the first one is a point light, or sorry, it's a distant light. And a distant light basically acts as the sun. So no matter where so this is the light right here. No matter where you put the light, it's going to touch any object in the scene. So even if I pull it away, I just want to pull it away and kind of put it into my camera view so I can see it. But no matter where you place it, it's still going to reach the objects. So basically all you want to do with this kind of light is just rotate it. Not that kind of rotation. So you can see how it's like you can get a backlighting, you can get or side lighting. I can rotate it up if I want to get more of that kind of top lighting. Basically want to just use the X and the Y for this. So something like that. Now I'm going to turn this off. So once you put a light in, it's just going to turn black. I believe you can turn off the lights in here, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So the next one is a linear point light. And a linear point light, basically, what's really, really cool about a linear point light is it acts as fire, and how fire would act in physics, like in real life. So let me just move this over so I can show you how it works. So basically, the light has a sort of fall off, and wherever you place it, so if I place this too far away from the character, the light isn't going to hit her anymore because it's too far away from her, right? So you can create like a really cool like underlying effect. You know, you can make it like a torch, and you can affect the actual color and the size of the fall off in here in the light. So I can change the intensity and make it brighter. I can make it softer. And then this is where you would change the fall off. So for whatever reason in this program, let's see, if I make the fall off end, move this over. All right. So if I make the fall off end bigger, let's see, it doesn't really affect it in the scene, but this is kind of hard to explain without just testing yourself. But sometimes, like if this light was too far away and the ring wasn't touching the character, and you go and render it, the figure would just appear black. You got to really make sure that if you're using this linear point light, that the ring is touching whatever you want to light, right? So I'd want to make sure that it was like this, something like that, if I was going to use this kind of light. This light is also good for like electric lights, like light bulbs and stuff like that. Right, let me turn this off. I'll show you the third kind of light that I like to use is a spotlight. So a spotlight is really cool and creates like a dramatic effect. It does exactly what you'd imagine a spotlight to do. So again, it's got to fall off, and you can see it with the cone. So I'm just going to pull this back. And it will kind of create a ring around your figure or whatever you're lighting. So for a scene like this, I might actually use the spotlight. Let me just place it, and then I can show you. So I'll put it up like that, and then angle it down. So if I go into my camera, it's going to create a nice like ring of light right in this area, and then put lighting on like the focal point of the character. The client asked that this scene be sort of like at dusk, so the sun would be setting and there'd be like minimal light. So this might be, you know, a good lighting scheme for that. I might actually want to make more of like a cool light as well. So again, I just go into lights and I change the color, click on color, and then you can make it more of like a blue. And then it will light the scene more of like a blue color. And what's cool too is like I could light this blue, and then let's say there was like some sort of torch in the scene. Let's turn our linear point light back on, and let's put that like behind the figure. It can kind of act as like a rim lighting, like a warm rim lighting. Let's put it up a little bit. It gives that nice like contrast between the cool and the warm light. So as you can see, you know, this program's like really great for reference. Basically at the end you would just click this little render button and then save it to the folder you want, and it will give you a nice PNG. Oh, let me just run through the render settings as well. So you click on render settings, you go to general, and then this basically just shows the size you want to render at. Unless you have like a super, you know, nice computer, I wouldn't make the pixel size like enormous, or else it's going to take all day to render. But you know, you can always mess with the pixel size once you put it in Photoshop. So yeah, I hope this helped. I'll end up posting the final and probably my process, so you guys can see like how I actually integrated this this model into my illustration. But yeah, let me know if you had any more questions or feedback or whatever. If you want to learn more about this program, or if there's any specific questions you have about how to use this program, I'd be more than happy to answer them in either the comments or another video or something like that. So yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks.